How's it going, guys? Anthony from 1000Hp here, and I thought I'd do a bit of an update on my 1000 horsepower Barra short wheelbase patrol project. I know it's been a long time since I posted anything. That's because I haven't really done much to it. I've been really busy lately. However, that's about to change, and you're going to see a lot more videos coming out. So some good news for you guys. So my plan for this year is to get the car running. Not finished, there's still going to be things to do, but as long as it can start and drive around, I'll be pretty happy. And then after that, we can start getting into more cosmetic things like painting it and doing the wheels and tires and all that little bits and pieces, like refining things. But if we can get it to start at least, I'd be pretty stoked with that. So yeah, stick around and I'll go through some of my plans for it and what else is going to happen and what you're going to see next. And yeah, my future plans for the build. So stick around. So you might ask yourself, why is the car currently sitting on jack stands? And that is because I've taken the front two springs out so we can then lower the car to its bump stops and make sure everything clears. We did quickly test this at Perfection Automotive when we put the motor in, but it does hit the sump. So I'll show you there. Let me just get under here. So as you can see, there's the sump, there's the diff. And when they fully ground out, that smashes first before the bump stops, which is obviously going to be a problem because if that hits first, you're going to break your sump and not the bump stop. So my first thing was, let's screw out the bump stop as far as they go, which these are hydro, so that's like that. They're not touching now because it is a bit jacked up, but when we do lower it down, there's about a 15mm gap here, and that's sitting on the diff. So that's obviously going to be a problem, and there's a few ways we can fix that. We can either pack this up and weld another plate in here so that sits higher, so then it hits that before it hits that, or we can pack the motor up with a couple of spaces on the engine mounts. Both a bit dodgy ways, which I really want to avoid doing because then you lose up travel, and I kind of want up travel. So the other options is move the motor back, which I don't want to do because I don't want to make a custom cross member. And also we can't really move it much back because then you're going to have a really short tail shaft, and we still have to put the transfer case at the back as well. So with a really short tail shaft and a lot of articulation and power, it's probably going to snap. Hence why we've pushed it as far forward as possible. Which brings another problem, the radiator, but we'll get into that. So the way we're going to fix this is not the easy way, the hard way. We're going to take off this nicely powder coated sump and all done all nice and whatever. We're going to take it all off, cut it to bits and re-weld a custom one, sort of like we've done on the gearbox, if you can see down there, a bit hard to see. So we're going to splay it out to the sides or further back, and then we have to modify the pickup as well. So that will also give you more oil capacity, which is not a bad thing, which is good. And it should hopefully give us more clearance. Once that's done, it can go back in then, and we shouldn't have that problem. And we can get more up travel again. We'll probably even be able to screw these up a little bit more to give us more up travel. So yeah, that's the main problem, which is probably the next thing we're going to do on this. And then we come to the next thing, which is the radiator. Now this radiator is an aftermarket radiator, but it is the one that came with the car when I bought it. So it's an old one, but I just had it in here for fitting. And I did buy a thermofan adapter just to see if it would fit, and then I'd buy a new one of it. But no way it's going to fit. So you've still got to get that in there, and look at the clearance you've got there, and you have belts and stuff running as well. So definitely not going to work, which means I've got to go to a skinnier radiator. Oh, there goes the box. But I believe the factory radiator is skinnier. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. I'm sure a lot of you guys will probably know the answer to that, but I have to do my research. If not, I have to get one made or something. Get a skinny one with thermos that can kind of be probably half the size of that, and that'll give me enough room to get the thermos in there. Or get smaller thermofans that sit off more to the side so they're not in the way of the middle of the motor there. Anyway, we're working through that. Once that's done, then the next thing is I'm going to get all the intercooler piping done. So I've got to cut this battery box out of here. The battery is going to be mounted in the back of the car, in the boot there. So that's going to be cut out. You're going to have a nice air box here. That pipe's going to come straight into the air box. I was going to run snorkels, but I've changed my mind and I want to keep the outside really clean. So no snorkel, just an air box in here with a pod filter. And then your exhaust is going to go at the back here, and having the motor really forward actually worked out good in this situation because with Barra Patrols, the exhaust on the Barra is on the left-hand side of the motor, but on a Patrol it's on the right-hand side. So it has to cross over, and normally people cross it over underneath the gearbox down there where the bell housing is, and it kind of sticks down and you lose clearance. Whereas I'm going to run it at the back of this motor right there and then head down like that. So that should be pretty good. And then obviously you've got, yeah, your intercooler at the front here, which all needs to be plumbed up as well. Once that's all done, my next thing is going to be getting the wiring sorted. So in terms of wiring, I've pretty much stripped the whole factory wiring harness out of the engine bay. It's all sitting in the footwell here. I don't know if I've got to pull more of it out from behind the dash or whatever. I have to look into that. But I do plan to completely replace the whole factory wiring harness. So I'm going to go a PDM unit. Pretty sure I'm going to go Haltech. They're coming out with a new PDM. I think it's a Nexus R3 or something like that. It's called, not too sure. Don't quote me on it. But I think that's coming out early this year. So once that comes out, I'll look into it and get that going. So basically, if you don't know what PDM is, I think it stands for Power Distribution Management. And what it does is it gets rid of all your fuses and all your relays. So you'd normally have a whole box here with fuses and relays going and switches and everything. And it just comes to this little box like this, which is integrated with the ECU. And you can basically control everything. To my understanding, you can even like control your blinker speed and everything. So it's fully programmable and just makes it so simple to basically rewire a car like this. So and I plan to do most of it myself, which is going to be a big learning curve for me. But I guess we'll go through it together and hope for the best. And obviously, yeah, the things that I can't do, I'll get someone that knows what they're doing to do it. But yeah, so that's my plan in terms of wiring. And obviously, I want to get the whole dash going. All this is going to be redundant. I want to make it really nice and inset like into there, the Haltech dash. And I don't want to have any gauges or anything. I want it to look really clean and sleeper looking. Just have the dash in there. And also going to replace this steering wheel because this is, look at that. That's not very good. But yeah, I want to get a custom steering wheel with paddle shift and that with an actuator to the gearbox, because when you have 1,000 horsepower in a car like this with this much body roll, trust me, you're going to want to have two hands on the wheel. So that's another thing I have to look into. There's a few companies that make that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's my plan anyway. So these are my brakes, and they're not in at the moment because they don't actually fit with these wheels. These are my old wheels from my GU. I think they're a 16-inch, and I think for this you need a minimum a 17 or 18-inch wheel for that. So I'm in the market for some nice wheels to fit that, and I want them to be gold, so obviously to match the original theme. When it gets repainted, it's going to still have this gold stripe, and that's why the motor's gold, black, everything's black and gold. So if you know any good gold wheels, let me know down in the comments because I'm in the market for some. So once that goes in, brakes can go in, got to do the brake lines, finish all that off. Going to be going a hydraulic brake booster as well from Marks Adapters, which goes there, and that will run off your power steering. Still got quite a bit to do, still have to do the whole fuel system. With the fuel system, I'm going to be running 3 in-tank pumps. So I've got to get a custom sender for that, just to supply the amount of fuel we need. And obviously need fuel injectors to match. They've just taped up at the moment, so nothing goes in there. But yeah, once those get in here, we'll add those in as well. And I think that's more or less most of it. I'm sure I've missed still quite a lot of things that need to be done, like interior stuff I won't even go into. But yeah, gonna want to get new seats and do roll cage and all that kind of stuff. But that's a long ways away. Want to get the car running first before I do any of that. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Let me know what you think. If you've got any ideas for me or other ways I can do things, I'd love to hear it. So let me know. So I think that's about it. So if you guys have any questions, obviously leave them in the comments below. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Follow the YouTube. I'm going to try and get a lot more content out there, even with this car and the GU and some of my mates' cars and that kind of thing. So yeah, if you like that kind of stuff, give us a follow, and also check out our TikTok and Instagram account. We post on there a lot more than we do on YouTube. So if you want to keep up to date, follow that. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time.